All right, Turkey has slammed RT's report based on information from a reliable source, claiming Israel used a Turkish military base to launch a recent airstrike at Syria. Ankara has also condemned the media for even mentioning the RT report. Here's the latest from our Middle East correspondent, Paula Sleer.
The Turkish foreign minister saying, to quote him, it is absolutely wrong. And he's accused those of spreading the story of an act of betrayal. He said that Turkey will never be a partner nor a part of such attacks, and that the ones who claim this want to damage Turkey's power and reputation. He slammed Turkish media for even mentioning the report. Now, we approached the Israeli Defense Forces for a second time, asking them to comment. Their reply was that the response has not changed since their earlier answer, and that is that they refused to comment on the issue. We never got a reply from the Prime Minister's office. There we just received an email response to our request saying that they will not be participating in our broadcast. We also never got a reply from the Foreign Affairs Ministry. A reminder of what we actually know at this stage. A reliable source told RT that Israel used a Turkish military base to help stage the recent airstrike on the Syrian city of Latakia. Now, what we know is that it was a pre-dawn attack. It happened in early July. Latakia is a key Syrian port not far from a Russian base. There were several Syrian troops who were reportedly killed and wounded in that attack. The RT sources tell us that Israeli planes left that military base in Turkey and approached Latakia from the sea, and this was to make sure that they were not inside Syrian airspace and so that they could not become a legitimate target of the Syrian Air Force. What is important is that the attack originated on the Turkish side of the border, and revelations that Turkey may in fact be cooperating with Israel against an Arab country would indeed be, for lack of a better word, highly inconvenient for Turkey itself and for its NATO allies, including the United States. You need to remember that Turkey positions itself as a key power player and a regional rival of Israel.
Now, if all of this is proven true, Turkish cooperation with Israel would land Ankara right in the middle of the crossfire between its people and its Arab neighbours. The cost of damage control could prove too high for the Turkish government, as RT's Polly Boyko reports.
The news that Turkey could be collaborating with the Israeli government to attack an Arab neighbour could badly damage the government of Prime Minister Recep Erdogan.
There will be a massive protest because there are protests going on here in Turkey against the government, and this is unacceptable for the Turkish people. So this would lead to a massive, to new protests. I think Turkish people are, I don't know how to say, but proud people, pride of their country, proud of their independence, and this means that you have become a puppet of some other states, and therefore this is even enough to be embarrassed about.
But the Turkish foreign minister has been quick to dismiss the reports, saying that they have no basis in reality. Critics disagree and say the government may need to get ready for some damage control. Turkey's wounds are still raw from 2010, when an aid flotilla heading for Gaza was stormed by Israeli commandos. They boarded a humanitarian aid ship and killed 9 Turkish civilians. And with the past weeks marked by anti-government protests here in Istanbul, these latest alleged revelations about cooperation between Israel and Turkey could present even more problems for the Turkish government. Polly Boyko, RT, Istanbul.
Well, Turkey has a long-running history of cooperation with Israel, and both countries are united in their opposition towards that of the Syrian government. That's according to Middle East affairs analyst Ibrahim Alouche.
We have an underlying strategic alliance that continues to exercise its effect. In fact, Turkey was the first Islamic state to recognize Israel in 1949. In 1996, there was a free trade agreement, and throughout the last few decades, there was very heavy involvement in terms of military security and political cooperation. The fact that this witnessed somewhat of a decrease in the last 2-3 years should not overshadow the fact that cooperation continues between the two countries. Over the last few months, we know for a fact that both the Israelis and the Turks have been supporting the Free Syrian Army against the Syrian regime. So as far as that goes, we can see where this is coming from.
And more disturbing surveillance revelations to come in the programme here on RT. For example, the UK police using counter-terrorism laws to confiscate mobile phones from travellers if they're trying to cross the border. Those details just ahead for you. Do stick around for those ones. Plus, Greece braces itself for a third standstill this year. We talk to a member of one of the general strikes organising labour unions right after this short break.